Hello beautiful, welcome back to Nat's Beautiful Life. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 6 books of the year that I've read so far. So I'm going to go through January all the way through June and pick out the #1 book and a runner-up for the best books of the year so far. And I saw this on Instagram. A lot of people were doing your top 6 stack, and I thought that'd be a great video idea as well. And then other people thought the same because I've been seeing this all over the place. So if you're new to this channel, hello, my name is Natasha. I do videos on mostly books, but also some beauty and bullet journaling and basically anything else I want to do a video about. Quick little plug, I am going to be participating in the Reading Rush again this year, and if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me there at QuirkyChick7, and not only will you see me during the Reading Rush, but I do post daily pictures from photo challenges and things like that, and also book recommendations and all of that stuff. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so we start with January, and the very first book that I will be speaking of today will be one that you've heard me talk about 100 times already on this channel, and that is The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. This has been one big standout book for me this year. We're following basically you've got 2 main characters and then there's families. So you've got one main character who is from Spain, and her family was killed during the Spanish Civil War, and she lives with her aunt and uncle, and then there's brothers, and then it's just like the after effects of that. And then at one point their dictator opened up certain parts of Spain to tourism, things like that, so they could get more money. And then you have an American who's coming, and he wants to be a photojournalist, and he meets this girl, and it's just kind of about their interaction, their friendship, and their relationship, and also just the things that are going on in Spain at that time. And there's just a lot to the book, so I highly recommend it. I do own it, but it is lent out to someone, so that's why there's a picture. Alright, so the runner-up for January was The Toll by Neil Shusterman. This is the 3rd and final book in the Arc of the Scythe series. I really enjoyed this book. I really like dystopian books anyway, and this was just like supposedly a utopia that of course if mankind is involved, it's gonna have some dystopian some problems with that as well. So I just really love this world. I love all of this. So the main premise for the world is mankind and the Thunderhead, which is basically a computer that runs everything, has they've abolished war. There's no sickness, there's no disease, nobody dies. You can live forever if you wanted to. In fact, if you accidentally die, they can bring you back. Just a lot of stuff going on, but because of that, there's overpopulation. They have not conquered going up to space and colonizing, things like that. So they have this group of people called the Scythes who come in, and their job is to do population control, basically. So they once you are gleaned from a scythe, you are dead, you're not coming back, you're done. So of course this is run by mankind, and so there's going to be some politics and things going on. So I really love, there's characters in here that you love, there's political things going on. So really enjoyed this series. It is YA, but honestly I think even if you're not really a YA reader, you could enjoy it. Alright, so now we're going to come to February, and I have 2 here for February. So the #1 I gave to The Last Days of Night by Graham Moore. This is a fictionalization of the real story between Alexander Bell, who was the other guy? Thomas Edison. No, not Alexander Bell, that's the telephone. Thomas Edison, George Westinghouse, and Nikola Tesla. So about the light bulb and electricity and the currents and things like that. But it's a very interesting story. He did cram about 5 years into 2 with this. But what I think is really awesome is you can go to the website and side by side it'll be like, this is what happens in the book and this is what really happened and when it happened. So I really enjoyed it. Even though it's a novel, it made me look things up. So very, very interesting book. And the second book, the runner-up, is The Woman in the Window by Mary Hogan. This is a dual timeline. So you've got historical fiction as well as present day. So you've got in 1889, you have Elizabeth Haberlin, who is the woman in the photo, and she is well-to-do, so she's very wealthy. She's of a upper-class family, and thank you, Callie. That was my dog flipping her ears. And she goes to Pennsylvania and it's a real place. So it was a fishing club, hunting and fishing club, South Fork Hunting and Fishing Club, or Fishing and Hunting Club, sorry. And they had made a man-made lake with a dam, and the fear was one day the dam would break, and there was a town kind of like below it. And their greatest fear actually did happen one day, and it is a true story. The dam broke and it flooded that town and just caused great devastation. So in the present day, we have a girl who is adopted, and she gets told that on her 18th birthday she can come in and they will share some genetic things with her. So they're trying to let her know that she's got Jewish descent in her, so to be tested for certain things, like there's a breast cancer gene or something. And then while she's there, she sees in her file there's a woman in the photo, and it's Elizabeth and Clara Barton. So that is how she kind of figures out who she is and discovers her history and things like that. Clara Barton, by the way, is the woman who brought the American Red Cross to the US. But this book was really enjoyable. In fact, I even could have just done with the 1889 story, even without the present day story, but either one, very good. Really did enjoy that one. And yeah, there's actual pictures in here as well as other historic stuff to show you that the town that she's talking about in 1889 actually did exist, and it still does exist, and all of that. All right, moving on to March. So, March, sci-fi. Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is one of the best sci-fis I've ever read. It just blows your mind how he uses the devices and the creatures that he uses to make this. So I know a lot of people already spoil it for everybody, so I'll go ahead and tell you. The main premise is this group of humans are trying to colonize different parts of the earth so that one day when the earth is inhabitable, they'll be able to go to these planets. So they're kind of like terraforming the planets. The idea is to leave some monkeys, and they have given them a virus, or they're like letting loose a virus also on the planet, and that virus is actually like man-made to make the monkeys faster, like smarter, faster, and they won't evolve into humans or whatever. They'll just be monkeys that are smart, and they're basically, their job is to set up the planet for the people. Well, monkeys never made it, but some spiders did, and so the spiders make the planet, and it's just awesome. You're following a whole like generations of these spiders as they grow and they become smarter and develop these cities and towns, but you're following one group of humans as they're making their way, and they're like being frozen here and there as they're on their trip. And so it's very interesting, and I really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to reading Children of Ruin, which is the next book. I hope it's just as good. A tie for me, honestly, was this one, A Little Princess by Frances Hodges Burnett. I have read, or I've watched the movie like so many times with Shirley Temple, but I never read the book. And so I read the book for the first time this year, and I fell in love. It is different from the movie. which was, I wasn't mad at it. I really enjoyed it. So if you have not read this, even if you're not really into classics or anything, I think this is just a great book, and I highly recommend it. My other like runner-up, I guess, would be Invasion of the Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. This really ignited me to want to do more classic sci-fi. I was absolutely blown away by how much I loved that book. And yeah, I'm gonna move on to April. April is quick and easy, so it'll save us a little bit of time. I did read a lot of books in April, so I was just kind of looking, what was my favorite books that I read in April? What were the ones that really stood out to me? So I'm going to say that my number one new read was We Walk the Sky by Lisa Fiedler. It is YA, but it's a dual timeline again, where you've got a young girl who runs off to join the circus, and then her granddaughter who is dealing with the aftermath of her mother leaving the circus and taking her with her, and she doesn't want to leave the circus. And so it's a lot of like family dynamics, but also she really makes you want to learn how to walk a tightrope. Like, I really enjoyed this book a lot. And then, of course, tie or runner-up, because I've read it before, Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery, which is probably one of my favorite books of all time. And you probably know what that's about. All right, so May. We had a really good May as far as books go. So I had kind of a tie, but I would say I have, my number one would be The 13th Tale by Diane Satterfield. So a girl works in a bookstore with her father. She writes some things. This famous writer that nobody really knows anything about reads that, thinks that she would be a good writer for her biography or autobiography, or biography, and so she hires her to write her story. So she comes to live with her for a little bit, and the story that she tells, oh my, this is so good, and it's got me, I really want to read more Diane Satterfield because of this. So good. The next one would be, you've heard it before, A Well-Behaved Woman by Therese Ann Fowler. It's fictionalization of the Ava Vanderbilt story. Once again, it made me look things up. I really enjoyed it. It's very well written, so I'm wanting to read Z by the same author, because it's Zelda Fitzgerald's story. So I'm really looking forward to grabbing that. Okay, and then my runner-ups, which, I mean, honestly, they're all equal in May. I read The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum for the first time. Again, not like the movie, but perfect for the book. And I really enjoyed this, and I really need to get the rest of the series. I think there's 15 books in this series, and I need them all. It's about $2,000 to buy all of them illustrated. So I have a feeling I'm going to have to buy them just the books, and then maybe just pick and choose ones that are my favorite to purchase the illustrated versions of, because I don't have $2,000 to just spend on a series of books. And then the next one was Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. This is told from the horse's point of view, and everyone should read this, but definitely, if you have a child at all, read this book, because the horse is learning about good people and bad people, and then it has people that stand up for him and people who don't, and then why certain horses act ways that they don't normally act when they're around good people. It's very heartwarming. It's just a commentary on life, and I really, really enjoyed it. All right, so now we're coming to June. My top number one book of June was The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. It is a dystopian where there's been another American Civil War. This basically a cult type group of political people have taken over and started the Republic of Gilead, where basically no woman has any rights, and it's very strict, and it's just something. And it even shows how it goes from, it happens in the future, so you're looking at today's society, but maybe a little bit more advanced, how it actually can go from that to this. I don't know if you hear snoring. If you do, it's my dog at my feet. But I really enjoyed this. And then the next one that I read was The Testaments, also by Margaret Atwood. It occurs 15 years in the future, or 15 years beyond this. And yeah, it's so good. Such an interesting world and amazing. And then my runner-up was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. It was the first time I had read that in June, and I was just coming off of reading Persuasion, which I did enjoy a lot, but I felt the writing was really choppy. Pride and Prejudice just flowed, and it was beautiful, and I am looking forward to reading more Jane Austen now. I've only read the 2 books from her, but I have this bind up of 7 books, so it's not like I don't have the books. This, by the way, is an edition you get at Barnes & Noble. I think they're like $25, and they're not bad to read. I mean, I don't know if you can see how the font and everything is pretty comfortable to read. Sometimes you see these, you get these editions and they're really pretty, but you don't really want to read them. But yeah. This is pretty comfortable. It is heavy, so I don't recommend traveling with it, but if you're reading at home and stuff, these editions are pretty cool. I got this because I had wanted to read a couple of Jane Austen things, and looking at the price of the books individually and then just buying one big bind up for 25 bucks, I was like, I'm cheap and this is beautiful. So that's how that went. All right, so that is my top 6 and some runner-ups books for the year of 2020, January through June. If you like this type of video, let me know and I can do it again at the end of the year. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys very soon, and happy reading rush. I think this is coming out. Is this coming out? Yes, this is coming out the week of the reading rush. So happy reading rush, and I hope that you guys will join me on Instagram so we can have some fun together. Put anything you like in the comments below, links to your top 6 of the year, reading rush TBRs, I don't mind. Put those in the comments, and I will see you again very soon. Have a great day, gorgeous.